Don Gatz for bothering the horse ranch. The undercover guy was back out there. Within minutes, law enforcement showed up. Two of our investigation into Don Gatz that started 20 years ago. Horse trail, illegal horse racing, horses getting attacked by a bull. Watch him as close as I possibly could. Hey everyone, we're diving into this investigation with Don Gatz, and this is part 3. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, I highly recommend going back and watching them. They're linked in the description of this video. Where we left off in part 2 is where one of our undercover folks was getting confronted at the B&B auction, and they said they had nothing to hide, but that was farthest from the truth.
Well, all you people want to do is cause trouble, and I don't know why.
If there's nothing to hide,
we have
no problem.
This auction had so much they were hiding, it was ridiculous. But we were following their interactions between Don Gatz and Billy Brown, the auctioneer at B&B Auction. We were also doing a lot of nighttime investigation, finding out what was happening on these properties at night. Into these properties at night was pretty sketchy. We were going in documenting injured horses, dead horses, shipments. It was really a crazy situation that went on for quite some time. We actually went in undercover with a news agency as well, documenting what was happening. Don Gatz feedlot that we talked about in part 1 and part 2, he had completely abandoned the feedlot arena there where the horse tripping was happening, racing, everything at that property just halted. And if that didn't scream guilty, I don't know what does. So when we went in with the news crew undercover, part of the investigation was to find where that property was, where they were operating out of. Now the horses are being taken somewhere else. We know this because we're going to the auctions, we're seeing them purchase these horses. So the dead of night, we are hanging out at this auction. We watch Don Gatz workers load up the horses and drive off. We're all following this truck and trailer, and they got wind of it and they just dived off the road. They did. There happened to be this rest stop there and it was perfect. We all just pulled into the rest stop and we're like, they're gonna keep driving on this highway. So we waited there, and sure enough, there they go by. We jumped in behind them and we followed them to where Don Gatz had his secret feedlot. And of course we went in there at night. We documented horses that were dead horses, injured horses, and he had just moved his operation because once he realized that Horse Plus and Animal Angels was onto him, he just abandoned that property completely. We started investigating his secret feedlot, and it was definitely Don Gatz there, definitely his employees there, and they were gathering horses there, and those horses would disappear. But back to the B&B auction.
Well,
all you people want to do is cause trouble, and I don't know why.
If there's nothing to hide,
we have
no
nothing
problem.
to hide.
He said they had nothing to hide. In reality, their auctioneer was actually shipping horses to Canada for slaughter. They would ship them out of California and then into another state for slaughter. And he actually was the very first person arrested in California since the law was put in place that it made it a felony to ship horses for slaughter. This was a person working for the California Food and Agricultural Department. Summer Text was also arrested. She had made promises that these horses were going to go live out their lives, blah, 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 like all these traders and kill buyers like to say. But in reality, she was in cahoots with the auction for shipping horses to slaughter. So telling people, oh yeah, I can get these horses into a good home. In reality, they were going to slaughter. These horses that caused the auctioneer to be arrested that he shipped to slaughter were fat horses. And at auctions, I had documented Billy Brown and Don Gatz picking out which horses would go to who. Billy Brown would ship to Canada, Don Gatz would ship to Mexico. Mexico would take the horses that were in poor body condition. We have no idea how many horses Summer Text was involved. The fact that she was working with Billy Brown to ship horses to Canada means, in my book, that she was also working with Don Gatz. At night, I had gone into other properties owned by Don Gatz. I even checked out his personal home property. I didn't see any evidence that he was shipping horses out of his home property. It looked like everything was happening at his little secret feedlot until we exposed it. Then it literally got plowed over to hide all the evidence. Don Gatz had abandoned 2 of his feedlot properties, and he decided to bring it to his home property. Now, I had been there during the day, I'd been there at night, And I didn't see any evidence at that time when I was there that he was shipping horses from his home property. But that all changed when he decided he'd had enough and brought it right to Madera County, where the horrific videos of horses being shot have been released and went all over the news. Stay tuned for part 4, where we're going to dive into the body cam footage that hit the news worldwide.
And then I guess we got to see